life is very much like a stage production. And the neat thing about that is you get to choose which and how you want to participate. What do I mean by that? Well, there's several different components to a stage production. One of those, of course, is the actors. One is the director. One is the writer. One is the producer. Now, the cool thing about this whole production is you get to choose which one you want to participate in the most. So you can be the actor on the stage. Now, the only problem with that is you end up being at the whim of the director and the writer and possibly even the producer. So you may not want to be just the actor. You may want to be the writer or the director or the producer. Or you may want to decide to be all of those things, because ultimately we are all of those things. But it really kind of depends on how much attention we put on each of these categories. So you have to bounce around a little bit. Now, you're going to be jumping out there on the stage of life and looking around and experiencing the other actors and the scenery and the events and the script, if you will. Now, who wrote this script? Well, you did, sort of. And then maybe you paid a lot of attention to it, or maybe you didn't. But either way, you're going to experience it. Now, at any point in this, and say you're jumping out there on the stage and you're thinking, this is my life. I am the actor, but I'm having to experience this, and it feels really real to me. And I don't think I like this so much. So if you're experiencing that, then what you may want to do is jump into the director chair and say, cut, 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 cut. And say, hey, wait a minute, we need to rewrite this script here or redirect it. And so, now you get an opportunity to get with the writer and you get with the director and the producer and say, wait a minute here, this isn't working. I want such and such to be nicer to me on this stage of life than they're being now. And so let's rewrite this particular scene into something that looks better. Or maybe things didn't work out the way you wanted to. Now listen to this. If they didn't work out the way you wanted it to, that doesn't mean that's the way it is forever. No, you haven't actually gone out and published this play yet, per se. I mean, maybe you have, but you don't have to redo it on the next production. You just said cut. You haven't published the film. Maybe that's a better description. It hasn't been released to the theaters yet. So now you get a chance to redo it. So you go to redo it, and then you go through that scene and say, oh, okay, that is much better. The events rolled out just the way I wanted them to. Maybe you had a monetary thing going bad the first time around, but then you went and rewrote it, and then you wrote it to your specifications, and it worked out much better. Or maybe there's a relationship, or maybe there's a health issue that you want to resolve. Well, guess what? You can resolve that. Nothing is impossible. All I'm doing here is I'm just pointing out that life is a stage. You choose the events, the script, you're the director, you're the producer. Just because it's happened doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You can change anything.